This is one of the first videos that I'm filming that I haven't really fully scripted because I feel like it's a lot of storytelling, and I want to record 3 videos today, so I just didn't have time to script them all, which is completely irrelevant to this video. In this video, we're going to dive a little more into the woo-woo and spirituality side of things, and I'm going to talk about how I tapped into my past lives and how those experiences have helped me heal now. So when it comes to healing, New Age healing, Western medicine, Eastern medicine, I have done a lot. I've tried a lot of different modalities, but I'm definitely not the person who relies on a psychic to make my every move or anything like that. I've done breathwork, Reiki, different somatic body energy work experiences. One time in 2012, this guy told me to put magnets on my body, and I don't even really remember what that was about. Massage, Akashic records reading, body talk, meditation, what else? Aura photography and aura reading, birth chart and astrology readings, more Reiki, working with a shaman, plant medicine experiences, working with a medical intuitive. So yeah, a lot. But all these experiences have spanned over the course of years, so it's not, again, like I'm relying on this type of guidance to really make my life decisions. I rely on my self-trust and my intuition. But what all of these different experiences are so powerful for is giving us insight into our own experience, our own energetic body, and maybe even into our past lives. If you have at all looked into past lives and past life regression, you may have come across amazing stories where children have even been reborn, and at talking age, they are remembering what their past life was, where they were living, even finding their murderers, which is crazy. But the details that people have brought into these lives and have remembered are really incredible, and it just makes me wonder how it could not be true. I definitely don't know how the whole soul reincarnation thing works. I don't know if I think that we can come back as animals, or if it's immediate, like as soon as we die, we are being reborn, or if our soul can actually be living simultaneous lives at once. I think some people can conceptualize that when you think of the theory of time. And sometimes when you hear and learn about these things, it just makes sense, and it allows for first a sense of relief, because you're like, oh my gosh, that's why I feel that way about this place. That's why I feel so connected to this place. That's why I feel so connected to this passion or this career choice or this person, or that's why I feel so resistant to this thing. When I give you examples, it will make sense. I probably do some sort of energy healing once a quarter or once every 6 months, and then some sort of intuitive reading like a tarot or oracle card reading, or with a medium or a psychic every 6 months to a year. It's pretty much always been someone different, and when you are looking to have an experience like this, I really recommend not necessarily just going off someone who I saw or someone else on YouTube saw, but doing your own research and then just trusting your gut and trusting your intuition, because that will lead you to the person that you are meant to work with. So I'm open-minded but not reliant, you know? The theme of past lives has come up a lot in these different experiences that I've had, whether it was intentionally a past life reading or not. I actually don't think any of them have intentionally been a past life reading. It's maybe been an element of their process, but it's never just been full on, you know, this is your lives. What most people also believe is that we have had many past lives, and the ones that come into your awareness in this lifetime are the ones that you need to know about now in order to facilitate some sort of growth or healing. So the first time this ever happened was during an energy healing session. I was laying completely silent on a bed with a woman who was doing some sort of Reiki on me. I had crystals put on my body, and after that, she told me that I was a leper in a past life. So if you have leprosy, the skin becomes quite deformed, maybe patchy, or has like lumps on it and stuff. I didn't actually know for sure, but she said basically because of this experience, I was exiled from the town that I lived in, and I had to live alone. I never had a husband, I never had a family. People obviously looked very down on me, like I was super sick, and because of that, I now struggled in this lifetime to see myself as beautiful, which of course so many of us have confidence issues, but this was just good insight into, oh, maybe these beliefs aren't coming from now and from who I see in the mirror now, but it's actually from this past experience of having so many people look down on me in that way, which is just cool. It's just insightful, and it's just cool. I had that reading done in 2017 and have definitely come a long way with my self-confidence since then. The second time past lives came up was when I was in a woman's healing circle. And when I went into this workshop, I had no idea what I was walking into. I sat on a pillow, there was a circle of women, and the shaman in front of us started facilitating an experience where she was just allowing and encouraging us to really release emotion. And within 10 or 12 minutes, maybe less into this, there was women crying around me, screaming, pounding the floor, and it was just a really safe space for people to release. I definitely released tears during that, and I know that I went into that workshop with a really heavy heart. But what also came up for me was just stillness in meditation. I was just sitting there, meditating and breathing, and I had this sort of vision of myself sprinting through really long grass. And as I was running, I realized, oh, this doesn't really seem like my body. There's a bit of a scar on my arm. I think my hair is really long and black. And I had this remembrance of being a warrior in a past life. So what I remember about being that woman was that I was alone. Again, I was in a situation where I didn't have a family and I didn't have a husband, and my job was to be a warrior and to fight. And I had a very strong team with me that I loved, and that was kind of it. And further into this meditation, and this is one of the deepest places of meditation I've ever been in, these two women were talking to me, and the version of me that was a leper and the version of me that was a warrior, and they were reminding me that they had already lived out the story of not having a family and not having a husband, and that didn't have to be my reality. And that's really what brought emotion to me. And I wasn't in a place where I didn't think I would have a husband, but I have been in my life going back and forth on whether I wanted kids or not. And the more I start looking at why I don't want them, the more I realize it's just based on past experiences, maybe past lives, and just also situations in my current life. And I don't know if that's actually true for me. And so just having these women in front of me visually saying, we've already done this. You don't have to be so isolated. You don't have to be so independent. You don't have to be so strong. You've already done this. You've lived this pattern. You've learned this lesson in this lifetime. You get to experience community and collaboration and partnership, and that was super powerful. So then it must have been about 10 months after that, I went to have my Akashic records read. And the Akashic records are, in theory, your soul records. And when I went to speak to this woman, she told me a bit about my spirit guides, and I think answered some questions I had. And then I was asking her about my past lives, and I said, I had this vision of being a warrior, and immediately she confirmed that, and she was like, that energy of you is here now, and she is telling you to drop it and drop the fierce independence and just allow yourself to be in your feminine and relax, and you don't have to be so on guard all the time. Because if my soul had this experience of being the protector and having to be a fighter and be on guard all the time, of course, maybe I hold some of that in my body now. So those two past lives are really the two that were only ever prominent for me for a couple of years, and they helped me heal around my beliefs around whether I wanted to have kids, around my appearance, around whether I thought I was worthy of love or not, around this independence and this wall that I had up all the time. And I guess at this point I wanted to say, whether this sounds absolutely insane to you or not, it doesn't even matter. It's just that it was a doorway for me to consider a different perspective, and that allowed me to heal. If you're wondering now if a dream or a memory that you may have had about a past life is real, it probably is. Most recently, about 5 months ago, I was in a float tank, which is a sensory deprivation tank, which is really good for deep meditation. And there I had a quite clear remembrance of being in sort of like a village, and I was taking care of all of these children, but they weren't my own. So I got to feel what it feels like to be so nurturing and caring of children, which is something that I've actually felt a little bit adverse to. I'm not very infatuated with infants. I don't mind toddlers, but the whole thing just kind of overwhelms me, and it's definitely something that I'm unpacking clearly. But I also know in my heart that I have so much nurturing and mothering energy, and so being able to remember this past life was very clear. I could see a hut that I may have lived in with a husband, and my hair was long and blonde, kind of like it is now, but more of like a golden blonde. Anyway, the details don't matter. And I was taking care of all these children and just felt what it felt like to love them so much and to have them love me and trust me. And that also shined some light on my own fear of being a parent, wondering if I would be able to take care and love this baby or this toddler or this child in the way that I want to. Actually, now that I tell this story all in a row, it really relates to children and family more than I even realized as I was having those experiences. It sounds very obvious now. And the most recent past life that I had awareness to, so not necessarily the most recent life, but the most recent one that I have learned about in this lifetime, was learning that I had my throat slit for being a witch. So you have maybe heard of witch burnings and witches being killed, basically, or women being killed for being witches, which was usually working with plant medicine or having like an equal partnership with their husband. Sometimes people would believe that the woman had a spell over the husband, or just doing any women powerful intuitive things. I'm not going to talk about the witch's wound, but you can look it up if you want. And the reality is that more than hundreds of thousands of women were killed because of this, and it's happened in Europe, in the US, and maybe other places. I mean, I'm sure other places, but I don't really know. Anyway, so when she told me this, that my throat was slit, I felt this sense of betrayal, and I was so mad, and it felt like betrayal towards a female. And when I thought about this concept of the witch's wound, and I was like, oh, I'm sure all the witches were like friends and stuff, and like no one would have betrayed me, but I feel like I was really betrayed by a sister. And I don't like that, and I don't even know why that's in my head. Like, it feels very visceral to me, and it's upsetting. And then I came across an article about the witch's wound and people talking about it and theorizing about it, and it was saying how sometimes this witch, or not witch, this woman would have to throw someone else under the bus basically to save her own life, and saying, oh, I'm not the one doing magic here, it's actually her up the road. So in my mind, that's exactly what happened. Someone, to save their own life, threw me under the bus, and for that I was killed. And now in this life, I have no doubt that I was a witch. I hope that I was a witch, because witches in that sense were so intuitive and so connected to their bodies, to their planet. They were in their divine feminine power. They were creators, they were dancing, they were singing, they were cooking. And I think that's super beautiful. So I may or may have not been a leper in a past life, a warrior in a past life, a nanny in a past life, and a witch in a past life. And whether that is true or real or possible or not, I will never know. But what I do know is getting these perspectives has just opened the door for me to have a new perspective on my situation, my beliefs, my experiences, and has allowed me to heal. Again, whether you believe in it or not, having these insights can just be super powerful to give a different perspective. Like I said, if you're looking to maybe discover your past lives and the experiences that your soul may have had, you can start with a free meditation. There's probably some on YouTube. There's definitely some on Insight Timer, which is an app that I really like for meditation. Just search past life regression, and you will be walked through a visualization meditation, and you basically just have to trust that where your intuition and imagination is taking you is correct. And of course, you could seek out someone like an Akashic Records reader, or a medium, or a past lives regression, I don't even know what they call themselves, someone to help facilitate that for you, or who might just be able to channel it and intuitively feel into that for you and feel from your own energy who you are and where you may have lived in a past life. Sharing a video like this is a little bit out of my comfort zone, but as I said in the start of this video, these experiences are something that I seek out, that I'm really open-minded to. So if learning more about this stuff is something that you're interested in, definitely give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe if you're feeling crazy. And if there's any other experiences you'd like me to share about or you're curious about, definitely let me know. Some of the experiences I mentioned in the beginning were breathwork, Reiki, going in a float tank, and other types of body, soul, and mind healing experiences. I'm here to share because I believe in being radically open-minded, and I think it is so powerful to learn more about ourselves and to just get curious about the world and the energy around us. That's it for me. Talk to you soon. Bye! I think, was that before or after? Okay, I feel like it was just so succinct. It's gonna be kind of short.